If championships are the only thing that matters, then why do we even watch the games? Because somehow in sports debates, we've reached a point where one ring can erase years of greatness, and 0 rings can erase the entire career. The obsession with championships has completely broken sports. Fans don't believe who the better player is anymore. They debate who has more rings. And the worst part? Context get completely ignored. Robert Horry is somehow more successful than guys like Charles Barkley, Allen Iverson, and Steve Nash because he has 7 rings. Nobody actually believes that. And that's because deep down, everybody knows championships are a team accomplishment. One player can't control injuries, coaching mishaps, roster construction, ownership, front office decisions, matchups, or even just bad luck. But somehow, when it comes to legacy debates, all nuance disappears. Look at Dan Marino, for example. One of the greatest quarterbacks ever, revolutionized passing, changed the sport forever. But because he's never won a Super Bowl, people act like he can't sit at the table with other all-time greats. His best chance was the 1984 season. Dolphins going 14-2, set records for passing yards and touchdowns, beating the Seahawks, who were in the AFC at the time, and Steelers, only to lose to the 49ers 16-38. The year after, Miami Dolphins, who were 12-4, earning a bye, making it to the AFC Championship game, only to lose to the New England Patriots 31-14. And his last hope was the 1992 season, going 11-5, making it to the Conference Championship after beating Chargers 31-0, then losing to Buffalo Bills 10-29. Or take James Harden, for example. One of the greatest offensive players the league has ever seen. MVP, multiple scoring titles, elite playmaker, changed how modern offenses operate. Harden in 2018 was on a tear, making it to the 2018 conference finals. Everything went their way and went on to take a 3-2 lead on the Warriors, but Chris Paul suffering a hamstring injury in Game 5 derailed their chances, and Warriors went on to win in 7. Or even look at Charles Barkley, no ring, still one of the greatest power forwards ever. Barkley's prime years confined with the rise of Michael Jordan. His Bulls were near unstoppable force. They met in the 93 finals, where they went on to lose in 6 despite Barkley's best efforts. Because when you actually watch the games, you realize greatness isn't rewarded fairly. Sometimes the better player loses. Sometimes the better team wins. And rings ignore context completely. Fans act like every championship is equal when it's not. That's insane, because rings have become less about evaluating greatness and more about ending arguments quickly. It's the easiest shortcut in sports debate. People just count jewelry, and this mentality punishes players in team sports unfairly, especially in the NBA and NFL, where a player can dominate and still lose because the roster around him failed. Because if rings define greatness completely, then role players with multiple championships will rank over all-time greats without rings. And nobody actually believes that. Nobody thinks Robert Horry was better than Steve Nash just because he has more rings. Why? Because deep down, everybody understands basketball and football are too complex to judge with one player. Rings should be the final chapter of a legacy, not the whole book. We praise winning until we actually look at how winning happens. Nobody wins alone. Not Michael Jordan, not Tom Brady, not LeBron James. But somehow only superstars get all the credit or all the blame. And ring culture has made fans terrified to appreciate greatness in real time. If a player doesn't win immediately, fans start calling them frauds. We've turned sports into ring or failure, no middle ground, which is ridiculous because some of the greatest athletes ever never won championships. Sports should be about more than just a final trophy. Championships to add to the legacy, not completely define it. And we can't turn away from how the media helped create this culture. Sports media realized a long time ago that ring culture drives engagement. It's easier to scream, "Can he win the big one?" than actually break down a player's game. So every debate became rings, finals record, playoff wins, legacy points, or football analysis. And once TV shows started turning sports into daily debate content, nuance disappeared. Over the last 20 years, sports coverage stopped being about analysis and started becoming about entertainment. Networks realized controversy gets more views than nuance. Because saying player A had a weaker supporting cast worse coaching, and tougher competition doesn't go viral. But saying 0 rings does. That's why entire careers get reduced to one accomplishment. They simplified everything into one question. Did he win? That's it. And once debate shows became the center of sports media, ring culture exploded because championships are the easiest argument possible. You don't need context. You don't need film. You don't even need to understand the sport deeply. And suddenly, the conversation is over. The media turned championships into a shortcut for greatness because shortcuts create louder debates. Look at how players get covered today. A player can dominate for 8 months straight, win MVP, carry a roster, put up historic numbers, and the second they lose in the playoffs, the media reframes their entire season as a failure. That's not analysis. That's reality TV. And the media does this because failure narratives are profitable. They need villains. They need the chokers. They need can't win the big one conversations because those topics keep people arguing 24/7. But ring culture ignores all of it because media narratives need simple answers. And simple answers create lazy debates. Because if championships are the only thing that matters, then we're not actually discussing greatness anymore. We're just repeating the loudest sports show on TV. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that. I'd like to hear what y'all think. And if you like what you see, be sure to subscribe. As always, see y'all in the next one.